In this video, I'm going to sit down and break down a real call from a closer making $30,000 a month in commissions on a $25,000 offer. Now we're going to go through exactly how he ran the intro, how he handled discovery, how he went through all the objections, and I'm going to show you exactly what he should have done differently at each stage to be able to close it on the first call instead of on the follow-up calls. Now, here's why this matters for you. The things I'm going to point out in this call are the same exact things that I've seen costing most closers thousands and thousands of dollars in commissions every single month. And when you see the specific changes that he needs to make, you're likely going to be able to take those exact adjustments and apply them directly to your own calls. Because making those changes is the difference between staying at $30K a month and going to $60,000 a month. With the same offer, with the same leads, just being a closer who knows exactly what to do at every stage of the call. So let's get into it.
Would you like to just fill everybody in the group in on what it is that you're selling in this call, how you feel like it went, what areas you feel like you could maybe do a little bit better on, just kind of some context for everybody here who doesn't know your offer.
Sure. So I'm no longer on this offer, but it was AI acquisition offer. We were helping people create an AI agency. Things I did well on this offer. I went through my whole process. It took a little long, but I made sure I covered every point. Things I could improve on is what I've struggled with my sales skills, but I'm getting better at it, is knowing not which rabbit hole to go down, but how deep to go down, because we have a limited amount of time. So something to improve is going down the right rabbit hole, but knowing where to go and then hopping in the next rabbit hole. I got a little bit of discovery resistance. I did all right in the first half of de-escalating that, but the ending was a little bit sloppy, but it still worked either way. So those are the two things to improve.
I love it. All right. Let's see.
No, can you hear me?
Can you guys hear this?
Yes, I can hear you.
Amazing. I can hear you, but I can't see you. I didn't catch you in your pajamas at this time, did I?
Yeah, sorry, because I was working all night.
Solid. All right, let's go to the end here and let's look just back to front as we usually do. For those of you who don't know, review your calls back to front, because you'll find some little ways that you could potentially just save the deal right at the end, rather than changing your entire call by changing something that happened earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
You only need 3 to 4 clients. I mean, I don't know, but maybe I'm just crazy, but that doesn't seem like too much work.
It does not seem like
easy.
too much work.
It won't be easy. It's simple, but it won't be easy. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, of course.
Building no business is easy. Now, what questions do you have on phase 2?
Nothing now.
Let's keep going.
I don't tell you what you want to hear. I'll do that.
So you sure?
I'm sure.
All right, if you say so. So based on everything we just covered, do you feel like this process, Chanel, could realistically take you from where you are right now to owning a cash-flowing AI consultancy with scale potential, automation, and long-term wealth upside, so you can own a business, own a home, and finally have that leisure time and feel that sense of relief?
I believe so, yeah.
What specifically in the business model I shared with you right now makes you feel that way?
Because you guys are supportive, right? You want to train us in sales. The AI generates, I don't really know the exact words, but I haven't taken any notes. But for the business purposes, for the problems, generates, I guess, and I do want to understand exactly where am I selling products to these businesses, or I'm trying to find out, are we trying to?
Yeah, right there. We'll pause. So what are we seeing so far, you guys? We'll hop straight into what are some of the red flags that we're seeing.
I think he's trying to do some post-pitch tie downs, and she's like, yeah, I feel good about it. But then there's also a bit of uncertainty around some of the business model. And
For sure. Yeah. Uncertainty around the business model, some boxes maybe not checked off fully in the pitch. What else?
She doesn't seem really excited about the whole thing.
Yeah, 100%. Not that we're looking for somebody to be excited, but it's something to know. Yeah. When she said, so Brody, you asked, do you feel this can actually help you A and B and C, yada, yada, yada. Her answer was like, yeah, that's a big red flag for me. I'm like, ooh, that's a no. That's not a yeah. So fantastic. Let's keep going, you guys. Good stuff. Thanks for sharing this call, Brody. I know we're gonna rip it up.
So
that can be uncomfortable, but it'll be good.
Let's time out. Let's be very clear. Don't want you to get confused. We have all the tools ready. We have all like the software, the back end. Think of it as a roofing company. What do roofing companies do? Door-to-door salesmen go out, knock on the door, sell someone a roof. 3 days later, the technician rocks up, your tech VA. Hey, I'm here to install the new roof. They look at the roof and they already have the pre-built materials there just to install. You're just a sales rep for now. You have sales rep, but the technician rocks up with the pre-built material, and you install the material based on the roof.
Was she a roofing person, Brody? Is that why you use that analogy, or was it? just what kind of
It just always works. Everyone, it makes sense to everyone. Hope.
Install the AI solutions based on the problems. Some, sales companies need sales call analyzers. Customer service companies need chatbots. And the AI offer credit and the AI growth plan credit are going to tell you exactly what solutions to present to them. You don't need to worry about any of that. Hop on the calls. Let AI do the heavy lifting. So you are selling.
That last bit, I think you tied that off perfectly. It was a little complicated. You were like giving all the little steps. But then when you said, allow AI to do the heavy lifting, that's what sold it right there. Let's see what
it's just only selling.
You are selling business outcomes. You are fulfilling with AI solutions. A restaurant does not sell food. They sell a good night. They sell a good date. They sell a good day. They fulfill with food.
I understand. Okay.
A college, a university doesn't sell you a degree. They sell you an American dream.
She says she got it. I would probably just go ahead and move on. Good analogy. Good little metaphor there. That was great.
Yeah.
There you go. They sell the outcome. Okay.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Makes sense.
How do you feel about that? Does that make you feel better and how simple this is?
It does.
Okay, good.
Tie that down. You sure?
Better than e-com and FBA or no?
Yeah, it does.
In what way?
So close. Yes, you're doing good about tying it down, but don't make it about the other stuff. Why not those things? Just go ahead and go straight for, like, why is this the way that you want to go? What is it specifically about what we've gone over, our process, blah, blah, blah. It's less so saying no to the other things and more so saying yes to this thing. That's where you want to be at the close. So like, for those of you who don't know, I'll take a moment on this. Early in the call, when you have somebody who has a bit of resistance. So Brody mentioned that this lady had a little bit of resistance earlier in the call. It's a fantastic strategy to not necessarily ask, let's say we're selling something simple, like, do you want this pair of red shoes? Right? If somebody has some discovery resistance, they won't want to say yes. They'll be like, well, it depends on how much it is, depends on, what material are they made of, blah, blah, blah. Like, they'll get into all this little kind of meaningless stuff with you, as opposed to if you were to say, let's say like you talk about something else that they really want. They're shopping for shoes. You're like, do you want this black hoodie? Like, no, I don't want the black hoodie. Okay. Do you want this pair of sunglasses? No, I don't want a pair of sunglasses. Do you want this? Like, no, dog, I just want some shoes, preferably red. Oh, cool, we have those. You want to take a look at them? Does that make sense? So it's giving them the opportunity to say no to all this other stuff so that naturally you get to what it is that they do want, and then they are more prone to say yes to it. So that's a great strategy, Brody, for earlier in the call. If there's still a bunch of resistance here, then you can still use it. But ideally, when you get to the close, you want to be really specific that this is the thing. It's not about any of the other stuff that's out there at this point. We have weeded all of that out, and now we are just here at this thing. You feel like this is where you want to go. Why?
Quick question before I answer that question. So you said that you guys will be involved for 12 months. Is that what you said?
Correct. It's a 12-month at a time partnership.
Okay. Well, that, is a sense of relief, once again, because a lot of these other partnerships, they try to, I don't know if it's longevity or not, but this didn't seem too promising.
What
did we just hear there? What did she just say? Who can tell me?
Past experience.
Yes. What about past experience?
It definitely didn't go well, especially within the time frame.
Fantastic. Yep. What else does that tell you? What does that tell you about what she believes about whether something should be a short-term partnership or a long-term partnership? Which is better in her mind?
Shorter.
There you go. She said it's a relief that this is a longer-term partnership. Let's keep going.
You're fine. They had to keep paying money, It was just like, it wasn't a flat fee, So
see also what she's saying here. She likes that it's a flat fee. What does that tell you about where somebody's headspace is at?
They don't like recurring fees, and they've been burned in the past doing something like that.
Yes. Now, why would somebody not like recurring fees versus why would they like an upfront flat fee?
So like hidden costs and stuff like that.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. What does it tell you about where their head is at with upfront loss for long-term gain versus the opposite?
Delayed gratification, or?
Yes, fantastic. That's what we're looking for. So if somebody would rather pay more money upfront so that they have to pay less money over time, that person is 100% somebody who believes in upfront cost, long-term payoff, upfront struggle, long-term gain, right? Like, this is the type of person who is willing to do something hard right here, right now, to have a better future. This is where, Brody, you've gotten to the place where you've made basically about 30K in a month, right? And this is what will start to take you from that 30K to like 40K to 50K, is hearing things like this and understanding where their head is really at. Because people always say stuff. People say whatever comes to their mind in the moment. Usually it's really not even that thought through, right? Like, you guys have experienced this before, whether it be with yourselves or with prospects. They'll just say the most random shit that they don't even believe is true because they haven't thought through it. And so if you can be listening to what they're saying and focus on what they're thinking that would be causing what they're saying, that's where you get really good. That's generally what will take somebody from like 30 to about 60-ish, I've noticed. Getting up to 30 is just being able to handle the words that they're saying, right? If they give an objection, you know how to word track your way around it, you know how to handle it, you know how to phrase things in the right way, blah, 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 blah. But in order to move past that, now it's like, okay, so they're saying these words, but where did these words come from? For example, when she says, thank goodness it's 12 months and it's all upfront paid, right? Because you guys have probably also been with prospects who are the opposite, right? Where they're like, can we do a rev share agreement where I pay you none upfront and I just pay you off of my earnings? Completely different headspace, right? But if you don't understand where that comes from, what thoughts they're having that produce those words, then you'll miss it. You'll just handle what it is that they're saying. Let's move on.
This is a flat fee. And look, there are some business expenses. And now that you mention it, let's say that now. Business expenses will be, $150 to $400. Your website, your CRM, your domain, your lead generation marketing tools. And that's if you partner with us, yes or no.
Put that
So
in
you
the
don't spend that
pitch.
already. Just being transparent with you. Super cheap for a business though, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. And look, as you scale your business, that will go up, but that's for scaling the business. Look, so now I'm going to be super transparent with you. We want to upsell you in 12 months to deeper level consulting. We want to get you to like 80 to 100K a month and charge you 10 to 20K to take you to hundreds and thousands. And I'm pretty sure you would not mind giving us 20K per month if we're taking you from 80K to 160K to 200K.
Not bad. Not bad. Small shift here. So I like how you are bringing up what your long-term intention is. Because what that does, if you guys want to think about it this way, that raises trust massively. The reason is you are saying something that could potentially lose you a deal. You're saying something that could be potentially taboo. You're saying something that could make somebody else view you a little bit differently, potentially even in a bad way, lose social standing, whatever it might be. That is a huge element of trust. If you didn't know, trust is not just about like showing expertise. Building trust between two people is not just about like being somebody that cares about the other person. Building trust with people involves one key thing most people just never actually focus on because they're so focused on keeping this facade, this kind of status quo, if you will, that they never break it. It's doing something that could potentially turn the other person off. Does that make sense? Like, imagine, I want you to think about the single person that you trust most in this world. Like, picture them in your mind right now. Don't say it out loud, but just answer it for yourself. Why do you trust them? It's probably because you know that they will always tell you the truth, right? Or something along those lines. You know that they're never going to lie to you just to make you feel good. Make sense? So that's a very important thing with building trust. So that's Brody. I don't know if that's exactly why you're doing this here, but if you are, fantastic. So our long-term goal, like, to be honest, Mr. or Mrs. Prospect, is to have you spend way more money with us, right? That can put off some prospects. But then when you explain it afterwards, it makes so much sense. It's like, listen, we're a business. We want to make money. And we make more money when we make you lots of money. Because if you make lots of money with us, you're probably going to want to spend more money with us, right? Now, I would have a little more back and forth, kind of like that, Brody, rather than just like saying it all. Have a little bit of questions, do a little bit of banter back and forth, make a little joke here and there, and that will 100% work. Like, fantastic. Let's see what you do.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
On because for me, it sounds like there's a lot of uncertainty in her demeanor, like about what we're talking about.
Mhm.
Would you just call that out, like before trying to like move past it?
1000%. Yeah. First thing, like when she said, yeah, we said, do you feel like this can X and Y and Z? And she's like, yeah. I'd be like, wait a second. We'd pause there for sure.
Partner with us, yes or no? So you're going to spend that already. Just being
Right.
transparent with you. Super
Yeah.
cheap for a business though, right? 20K per month. If we're taking you from 80K to 160K to 200K to maybe, who knows, millions a year, millions a month. You'll probably throw
Right.
more money at us because we've shown you proof
Yeah.
of concept. We just dial that up.
Yeah, so you might be pushing a little too big of numbers there. I don't know what the rest of the conversation was because we haven't looked at it yet, but you might be pushing too high of numbers. You want it to be reasonable numbers and say, listen, even if we only did this amount, wouldn't that be worth putting more money in order to get that percentage growth again? And then again and again. It's like, even if this only made 2 times as much as you're making right now, and you're able to do it with, even just 10% less working than you are right now, wouldn't that be worth it? Yes. It's not about like getting to these big grandiose goals. Again, this is building more trust because there's a little bit of that barrier there. So notice that she's got that wall up. Notice that she's not like fully bought into this. So don't be the guy that goes off like into these big grandiose dreams and goals and aspirations. Be the guy that grounds. Like, listen, if we only did this, would that be worth it? Get her to buy into that. Because again, that's building trust. If you say, we're only going to give you an extra 10%. That's something that could turn off a deal, right? That's something that could turn off another prospect. And so it builds more trust. All right, let's keep going.
Right. So what's the initial upfront cost?
Hold on, we'll get there. We're about to get there.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you feeling about the process? 1 being, God, this call's gone for so long. This ginger guy's so persistent. I hate his accent.
That was good. A little awkward, but like, hold on, we'll get there. Not necessarily the worst thing. She laughed at it, so like, you're probably good. But
His hairline's
I would probably do it differently myself. I'd just be like, happy to. Before we do that, I just want to know where the most important thing is scale of 1 to 10.
receding. AI can never fix that. And 10 being, this sounds like the reasonable vehicle for me to pull the trigger and get started on it with these guys.
Good. Don't do the reasonable tone. Say the reasonable words, but say it confidently. So this is really key because your tonality will shape how the words are perceived. Your tonality will shape how the person feels. All right. So the words you say will anchor in the meaning of the words into their conscious, their subconscious, but then your tonality will influence their emotions. So if you say 10 being reasonably certain that this can actually get you to where you want to go, my tonality is certain. It induces the emotion of certainty. The words are kind of just like playing with definitions, reasonably certain. So I'm giving them the emotion of certainty, complete certainty, while my words are reasonably certain so they can't argue with it. If I instead say 10 being, kind of reasonably certain that this can get you, like, the emotion is now uncertainty. Does that make sense? Yeah. So tonality dictates emotions. Words dictate logic. Does that make sense?
Whoa. Why are you a 10? Why not like a 3 or a 4?
Ooh, your tonality and like your whole demeanor changed a lot there. Be careful of that. You can be a little.
No, if I was a 3 or 4, I wouldn't have continued.
But why are you a 10 out of 10 is extreme, the most certain? So why are you a 10 out of 10?
Well, because you told me that. You said 10 meaning, oh, well. So your answer for 10 was more like an 8. So I went with the 10. But
So why are
I'm
you
gonna say
a 10 out
9.
of 10?
I'm going to say
Okay,
9.
Okay, a 9's still pretty high. Why not like a 5 or a 6?
Because it's practical. It seems practical,
Okay.
Pretty much it.
In what way? Practical in what way?
Mm-hmm.
What would it take to be a 10 out of 10? Besides the price, because that, like, we're going to go through that. What would it take to be a
Just
10?
results. If I see results, then you get the extra point.
Okay. Well, look, you're never going to see results unless you dive in and do it, right?
Right.
So it sounds like before we dive in, it sounds like from where you are
This is a
sitting,
long ass call. Jesus.
you are a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
From where you are.
So to speak. Mm-hmm.
Okay, sounds good. Any final questions?
No.
Cool. Next steps from here is to go through the different levels of partnership, which one aligns most with you, and what onboarding and getting started with us with your consultant looks like. Sound good?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Before we get into that, any other questions on the process or the conversation we had about you aside from getting started?
No.
Okay. How do you feel?
I don't know that I would ask how do you feel again because you've already kind of been doing that a bit.
Pretty good. Mhm.
Now, before I share these investments, I'm going to walk you through how we've set it up. Now, look, you might get feelings of maybe some jitters, a little bit of fear, a little bit of anxiety, and that's totally normal because you've done two things before. You've done Amazon, you've done Shopify, you invested in the stock market, you've lost 15K. That's not a lot of money. So there's some trauma there. Now, people talk about trauma as like going through something very traumatic, I know, like a domestic violence, but still losing money in a capacity, that is traumatic because money, if we don't have money, we can't survive because we can't pay for things. So when I show you these, you might get a little bit of panicking inside. That's totally normal. You're meant to feel that way. You might feel a bit nervous. Good. I want you to feel nervous because you're going from Chanel 1.0 to Chanel 2.0. You're in a whole way to become that new version. There's going to be some push-pull. There's going to be a disconnect in identity. Oh, what do I do and everything?
Mhm.
All you have to do, and your brain would go, oh, no, risky. But your heart is going to say, step into the right version of Chanel, move forward. Let's be our 2.0. Let's start thinking, acting, behaving, and taking action like our 2.0 version of Chanel right now. So we just become that person.
Okay.
So those feelings.
Most of you will have no idea what Brody just did there. Brody, that was pretty dang good. I would instead, I'm not going to explain it too much to everybody, but I'll just do a couple little things. The first part, Brody, is somewhat good, but you're going to be inducing those feelings automatically in her. So it's kind of a post-hypnotic suggestion. You're going to feel X and Y and Z. And this feeling, this emotion is going to come up in a, or even just could potentially come up in a moment. It's like me saying, don't think of a purple elephant. Immediately, everyone thinks of a purple elephant, right? And so if you are saying that she may feel these emotions in a moment, she will feel those emotions. Again, I don't know if you did that part purposefully or not, but what I would do instead is talk about my own experience or her own experience. Use a story. Now, before we get into this, I want to tell you a quick story because it's going to be really important for what we're about to go through. So then you tell a story about when you're making an identity shift from 1.0 to 2.0 and the feelings that came up for you, or for her, based on the discovery and stuff, you know her story well enough to be able to say she's gone through an identity shift before and have her recall the emotions that she felt and why they were good, blah, blah, blah. And then that's when you move on to the second half of what she did with all those embedded commands about, you know, moving forward, upgrading identity from version 1.0 to 2.0 right now with me, like all of that stuff. I thought that part was fantastic. Don't change any of that. Maybe add in a confusion statement if you want to, but if you want to like take it one level higher. But I think the real shift will be in that first part. Rather than suggesting that she's going to feel these things, story about how you did or about how she did. Kind of like that self-based analogy kind of framework. Right? Has there ever been a life where you felt like you really upgraded from 1.0 to 2.0 version of you? What was it? How did it feel? What were the feelings that came up? Why was that important for you to go through those things? All that sort of stuff. Make sense? Cool. All right. Let's keep going. Fantastic work on all the embedded commands and stuff.
Feelings are probably going to come up, and it means that you care. Those
for the rest of you guys, that's all like purple belt kind of material and onward. So it's fairly advanced, but you'll get
those negative feelings, but they're not negative. They're just informing you to take action right now with me.
Mhm.
They are the prerequisite feelings you have to feel to push through and become that new version of yourself.
Mhm.
So you're meant to go through it. It's good. It might suck. It's like a heartbreak. Heartbreaks suck in the moment, but looking back, you're like, that's the best thing that ever happened to me. I actually wish nothing else would be different.
Yeah, see, all of this stuff would be cleaned up if we just had that self-based analogy first and we just reference that every time. Because then it's also her lived experience. She may have never had a heartbreak. She may have never had, anything else that she brought up.
Because we became the new person. Okay, same thing here.
Mhm.
How do you feel with me saying that?
Pretty good. Okay.
Okay. So the way we've set it up, we have three different packages: a do-it-yourself business setup, a done-with-you business setup, and a done-for-you business setup. Now, it's not a matter of if you succeed; it's a matter of when. It just depends how quickly you want to get there. Because business, money, success loves one thing: speed. So we do speed to business setup, which is speed to market, which is speed to revenue, which is speed to money, which is speed to your goals. So how quickly do you want your business set up? Now, it's going from A to B. So think about it as a Toyota, like the incubator, the do-it-yourself is like going from A to B in a Toyota Corolla. You're doing all the driving yourself. You're doing 95% of the driving. We're doing 5%. The accelerator is like getting in a Corvette, and we do 50% of the driving. You do 50% of the driving to be. Now the launchpad, the done for you, is going in a Bugatti even quicker. But we do 95% of the driving, and you do 5%.
I like the metaphors. We need to find something that matches up a little bit more. Is what I.
Do you mean to her personally, to herself?
Yes, but even if not necessarily that, let's say she's a car person and she likes cars, right? Like the metaphor would work. However, you're talking about like percentage of driving. Like we're doing 50% of the driving, you're doing 50% of the driving. That's not how cars really work too much. So we need to explain it in a way that does not induce more confusion, right? I don't know what it would be. Maybe just say like a group project when you were a kid. Have you ever done a group project in school when you were a kid? Were you ever the person that did 100% of the work? You know how that feels? Well, you won't do 100% of the work, but if you come in on lowest tier, we'll help you a little bit while you do most of the project, right? We'll have all the tools to guide you along the process. We'll have blah, 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 blah. But that's tier 1. Tier 2 is where maybe you have an equal partner, right? We do 50% and you do 50%. It's a good time. We have fun together. Business grows usually a little bit more quickly. That's tier 2. Tier 3 is where you get to just kind of sit back and oversee the project while we do all of the work for you to make sure that everything goes according to plan. We follow all the steps that work for all of our most successful clients, blah, 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 blah. And you just make sure that you're not terribly unhappy with the money coming in. Sound good? So group project might be the way just coming to mind for me that I would do, because it also induces regression back to when they were a kid. Kids are usually a little bit more open to authority, more suggestible, more excited, more willing to take risks than adults are. So if you use when I was a kid, it's another big thing. That's also, I think, brown belt, you guys. So like you can use that one pretty easily. Okay. You want to make sure if you're going to use an analogy, use a metaphor, use one that fully lines up, that doesn't induce more confusion than it needs to.
So the different investment levels. So the incubator, the retail price to do it yourself, that's 8K USD. The accelerator is 15K USD, but the launch,
it came for 24.
Oh, I forgot to mention Chanel. This one requires, let me just, I want to get correct, the incubator. That is, sorry, we just talked about this. The time that you have available, you can put in at least an hour and a half.
It does, but just affordability, that's the issue,
It's okay.
So like up front, yeah, I don't have that up front.
So which ones are, look, we've never let finances get in the way of a good partnership. So which one's aligning with you the most?
With my schedule, of course, it would be the AI Launchpad,
Okay, why the Launchpad?
Because the time that is required to invest weekly is more practical for my schedule at the moment.
Okay. Do you believe the Launchpad?
I don't know that I trust what she said. More practical for my schedule at the moment. The way she said it, the words that she used to say it, it sounds like a smokescreen to me. I think it could be her normal way of speaking, because like I haven't heard her say a lot at this point. However, my antennas are up. All right, let's just see what she says. Generally, if I were you right there, Brody, I would probe in. I'd say, what do you mean better for your schedule? Get her to sell you on why that's the obvious choice for her schedule right now. That may be your in for closing.
Can get you to your goals?
Of course. Mm-hmm.
Why of course? Of course sounds bulletproof certain.
Because I like
you have gotten her to double down a lot on like why of course. Be careful with that, because if you use it too much, then it becomes kind of pointless, right? And redundant.
You explained, right? Like
loses its power the more times you do it.
Did you say our first lead? Our first customer?
I'll show you what the first 30 to 45 days looks like. In the first week, you hop on 3 calls with your business consultant, identify your niche, develop your AI offer, establish your...
Okay, cool. So I'll pause here, I think, for the ending of the call before we go back into discovery. What are we seeing, you guys, that Brody is doing well? What do we see that could potentially use some work aside from the things I've mentioned? Let's start with what he's doing well. What do we like?
Go ahead. He's very sharp. He's keeping on it, very present, like making sure it does feel like listening to it. It feels like he really wants to make sure it is aligned and she actually does want to do it. He's not rushing through for the close or anything like that. It's like, are you sure? Okay, you're with me. We're on the same beat. He's doing that really, really well.
I agree. Agreed. Yeah. Great one. What else?
His questions are making her answer in a way that she's selling herself on it as the process goes along.
100%. Great one. What else, you guys? Maybe 2 more things. He's doing well. What do we think? How's his tone? How would you guys describe his tone overall?
As someone who's looking to help her.
Yep. Very good. Very grounded. Very confident. Not monotone. Very your tone up, Brody. Yeah.
And he's controlling the frame of the conversation really well.
Yeah. What do we see big picture that we feel like Brody might be able to work on with this? What are you guys seeing that we haven't covered so far? Or maybe that we have. What stood out to you?
Stood out to me so far, and I was on the same offer, so I know the challenge, and I did this as well, is the going back and forward between the complexities of the offer, and you're going to be doing this, this, and this, and the core conversation that needs to be had, which is, which one do you want to do? Like, how are you feeling? Are we ready? Like, just like moving the sale forwards. So the back and forward between those two, sometimes it seems, even just to me listening, a little confusing.
Yeah, 100%. And you're used to the conversation, and you're used to the product, and you're used to the business. They're not used to any of it. 100%. Good point. What else, you guys? What else has stood out so far?
I think he could maybe dive deeper into why she's feeling the uncertainty and why she's a little apprehensive towards the whole thing, because there is a degree of apprehensiveness in her tone throughout this conversation. Like, she's keeping her answers really short, really terse. Yeah, no, So
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I think overall, depending on how the rest of the conversation has gone, it looks like we're a very long way into the call. So like, short answers may not have been happening the whole time. They may have just gotten shorter and shorter because we're just tired of the conversation. But overall, yes. You don't want to like assume. You want to give people every opportunity and assume the best about them rather than assuming the worst. So assume that they are being true to their words over and over. When she says, she's a 10 out of 10, she says, of course, this feels like it's perfect, all those sorts of things. You can assume that and just move forward with it. But if it keeps happening over and over, then yes, pause, which at this point it has. So 100% pause. Be like, listen, I don't know about you, but there's a big red flag happening for me. And then use the red flag framework and bring it up. You'll be solid. See what she says. I will also say, it may sound slightly racist, but like this demographic, this happens a lot. I've taken a lot of calls with what I would assume is Chantel's demographic largely, and oftentimes it's not wanting to face the reality. It's big dreams, big goals, but not wanting to like look at the present if it's not exactly where you want to be, and not do the hard things. Say all the right things, but then not actually do it. And I'm not the only one who has noticed that. I'll just put that there. Okay, cool. Let's go on earlier into the conversation. I want to see kind of how this call opens up because she's not on camera. She might be on her phone or something. So let's see.
I remember this call. I dialed her and I woke her up.
Joy. Woke her up and then a 2-hour call.
Now, can you hear me?
What a way to wake up.
Amazing. I can hear you, but I can't see you. I didn't catch you in your pajamas at this time, did I?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry, because I work. I was working all night, and I
Yes.
about.
Do you do night
yes.
shifts?
On Friday nights, I do. Mhm.
Good for you
What do you
for
do?
continuing the call though, bro.
Well, I have several jobs, but my full-time job, I'm a caseworker for child protection and permanency.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Doing God's work, as I say.
And then I also do work for hospice.
Hospice?
Yeah,
Amazing.
I also work for hospice. Yes, I take care of, geriatrics population.
So we know it's going to be probably a fairly financially tough call. Probably.
Yeah, that's amazing. As I said, you're doing God's work. I see you're based in the EST time zone. Whereabouts?
In New Jersey.
Oh, you're in New Jersey? Great. Do you like New Jersey?
I've been here my whole life, but I don't want to stay here.
Oh, surely there's something you love about it. Come on.
I mean, I have children, so
Beautiful.
my job is
Okay.
keeping me. I have a state job, so state job. With
That makes
benefits.
sense. Yeah, I'm actually in Paraguay right now. It's a country in South America, just straight down.
Oh, nice.
It's between Argentina, Bolivia, and Brazil. But you can probably tell from my accent, I grew up in Australia with my family, and my mum and I were really close. And Chanel, I remember when I was a kid, I was on a trampoline jumping as high as I could.
So advanced part here, but you're still awkward going into it, Brody. I know we've worked on this a lot, but like it's still just weird. All right. We need to
This call was in October before we redid it, by the way.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's weird. So like, don't be weird about it. Make it natural. Tie it into why you're in Paraguay right now. It shouldn't jump from, oh, you're in New Jersey to I grew up in Australia. Like, there should be a thread somewhere that we follow, right? That's a really big key with all this stuff, because there's a lot of, for those of you who don't know, Brody's doing a lot of covert stuff here. Okay, Brody's done a little bit of work with me personally, I won't say, but we've worked on bringing in a lot of covert stuff in this next section. So I'll let you see it, but just know that there's more going on here than you probably will ever learn unless you stick with me for a little while. Then maybe you'll learn it.
And I went to do a backflip, but I hesitated. And when I landed, the trampoline broke and I fell. I looked up and I saw something that made me stop. One of the hooks had broken when I landed, when I fell, and was sticking out. And immediately I thought to myself, how close was my head to that? And then my mum came over. She looked at me and told me something I'll never forget. Playing it safe is the riskiest thing you can do because you never know what hesitation can cost you until it's too late. Decide right now with me that you believe in yourself and you can achieve anything. Decide to be completely open, go for what you truly want, and go all in. Your only regret will not be doing it sooner. Anyway, I am rambling. I know we do have a limited amount of time. Is there any, are you ready to jump in?
Yep, we could just jump right into it.
And is there any time pressures at the top of the next hour?
Not really. I think I just have about an hour.
Not really? So we can go over maybe 5-10 minutes if we need to cover everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Just make sure, again, make that not so weird. It's like, I'm not planning to go hold you for, the next 17 hours in the day. But like sometimes if there's a couple extra questions, I just want to make sure that we don't leave with some questions unanswered. Right? Frame it in their benefit. Frame it as like, want to make sure that you feel good about things before we part ways today. Something like that, rather than just.
Okay, great. So just to set the table and the tone for our session today, Chanel, anything I can do to provide you value and get you in a better position coming out of this call, that's all I'm trying to do, to give you some ideas, some suggestions, some opportunities, to point you in a better direction if you need it. Sometimes what we do as a business for people is a perfect fit for that, and sometimes it's not. If it is, I'll walk you through all those details and how we can get started. And if it's not, I ask your permission to let you know this won't be a fit for us. All right?
Of course.
And of course, if there's anything on your end where you sense this isn't the right fit for you, I ask that you let me know as well. All right?
Good. Very solid frame. There was a lot there. Let's go back and break that down because I feel like frame is something that not a lot of people understand how to do properly. So we're going to go step by step on this.
Okay, great. So just to set the table and the tone for our session today, Chanel.
So setting the table, setting the tone. This is something that people have generally heard out and about in meetings, and like this is a very common thing. So we're already framing the conversation as something that is common. We're not saying here's what's going to happen on the call today. We're not saying like here's what we're going to do today. It's just to set the table, set the tone, right? So it's not even saying this is what's going to happen. It's just to kind of set the stage before we get into things. It's fantastic.
Anything I can do to provide you value and get you in a better position coming out of this call, that's all I'm trying to do.
Cool. We see what happened there. Anything I can do to provide you value and get you in a better position coming out of this call, that's all I'm trying to do today. Fantastic. Only thing I might change is right at the end is all I'm trying to do today. Maybe is just all we're going to do today. Something like that. So a little more collaborative, less about what I'm trying to do. Anything that we can do to provide you value and get you in a better position coming out of this call today, that's what we're trying to do. All right? Fantastic. It's also not saying that like we're looking for a decision from you by the end of the call. It's not like saying that we're looking for a yes or no at the end of the call. It's not like, we're going to dive deep into your situation, get clarity. Like that's a good frame, but I like this one a lot more, especially for a little bit colder leads, which I know your offer has. Let's keep going.
I'm going to go for passive income.
Wow, it jumped. I hate it when Falcon jumps. Okay.
To give you some ideas, some suggestions, some opportunities, to point you in a better direction if you need it.
Okay, good. To give you some ideas, some suggestions, some opportunities. Everybody likes those things. Everybody likes new ideas. Everybody likes suggestions because it's not commands. It's not like, we're going to walk through what it is that we do as a business today. It's not going to be like solely focused on their situation. But in order to give suggestions, we need to be able to know about their situation. So it already frames that like our whole goal here today is just to help you. And it's just to give you some things that you can make better decisions with. Ideas, suggestions, opportunities, right? Value, get you in a better position coming out of this call. It doesn't even insinuate that there's going to be some sort of decision, but it's giving you things to help you make a decision, all right? Very, very low pressure way to frame things, which is fantastic, but also very positive, raising expectancy, raising like their excitement to be on the call as well. And then potentially point you in a better direction if you need it. Fantastic. So it also invites this idea that like we may not necessarily be the perfect fit for you. There may be something better for you, or maybe you're going down this path and we need to point you in a better direction if you need it. Lots of good things comes there. And then last bit.
Sometimes what we do as a business for people is a perfect fit for that, and sometimes it's not. If it is, I'll walk you through all those
next to last bit.
details and how we can get started.
So that was good. Your tone kind of changed with that. I would pause there, do a little bit of variance in your tone, your cadence to make it, again, feel like this is natural. It's practiced, but not rehearsed. All right. I just made a video that'll be posted about this soon, but rehearsal is practicing the exact thing that happens in the moment, exactly as it happens. But practice is kind of different. So imagine, let me stop sharing here because this is going to be really important for you guys. Who here has played sports? Just raise your hand. Okay, cool. Everybody's played sports. When you go to practice for sports, what do? You do drills, you do workouts, you run, you kind of do things around what you're doing. And then sometimes you do a little bit of like scrimmage, right? Martial arts, you do sparring. You run big games, you run plays, like you practice what's going to happen there. But that's different from how many of you have done theater before or some sort of like play, right? When you do that, you practice exactly what's going to happen on the stage with the other people, and it goes exactly according to rehearsal. Big difference, right? When you practice for sports, game time never goes exactly like you practiced. You can get practice as close as you can, but it's never exactly like you practiced. Rehearsal, it goes exactly how you practiced. Big difference. If something sounds rehearsed, it's like, this guy has done this a lot of times exactly the same way. I'm not unique. This is just a script. Like, that's kind of the feeling that it induces, unless you're really good at it, unless you really practice making it sound more natural. Practice, something sounding practiced is different. This is like, oh, this guy has done this sort of thing many times before, but this feels unique. This feels, different. It doesn't feel like he said these exact words 1,000 times. It's more so just the conveying of that feeling of confidence, of authority, of repetitions. Does that make sense? You see the difference? One is like, this guy has done this a lot of times before. This guy is like, this guy has done exactly this 1,000,000 times before, and this feels weird. Like, am I about to get the same pitch everybody else is? That sort of thing, right? Big difference. All right, let's go. You're sounding a little rehearsed here is what I'm trying to tell you, Brody. Sound a little more practiced instead of rehearsed. Small difference.
Sometimes what we do as a business for people is a perfect fit for that, and sometimes it's not. If it is, I'll walk you through all those details and how we can get started. And if it's not,
I don't know that I would say perfect fit. I might say a great fit. You don't want to seed the idea that like either this is perfect or it's not, unless that's something that you really want to do. It can be good, but somebody might bring up the objection of like, oh, I'm not 100% confident. And so you're already seeding the idea that it's either 100% or nothing. Okay. Which is rarely true in life. And then I'll walk you through all those details on how we can get started. You're seeding the idea of getting started. That's not bad. I can walk you through all those details if that sounds good. And then this last bit.
And if it's not, I ask your permission to let you know this won't be a fit for us. All right?
Good. I might just turn that into a very solid question instead of just a sentence. If it's not, can I have your permission to tell you that I don't feel it's a right fit for us? Or I would frame it for them first. If it's not, I ask that you tell me that this is not a good fit. Can you do that for me? Yes. And on my end, if I feel it's not a good fit, ask your permission to tell you that as well. Yes. This is really good because you're inviting somebody to tell you no, which makes them feel safer. It increases their trust in you, right? It's like if you're going out on a date with somebody and you're like, listen, if you don't want to keep this date going at any point, you feel like it's awkward, you feel like we're not really having as good of time as you'd hope, you think I'm a fucking weirdo, you can just tell me and we can part ways. I won't tell everyone you're a bitch because you did that or anything like that, right? I won't feel offended if you just say, I don't think this is the right fit for us, right? Very good.
Multiple streams of revenue, right? So,
and if it's not, I ask your permission to let you know this won't be a fit for us. All right?
Of course.
And of course, if there's anything on your end where you sense this isn't the right fit for you, I ask that you let me know as well. All right?
Absolutely.
Great. Now, Chanel, in your opinion, What's the biggest reason you want to make money online by leveraging AI right now?
I'm gonna go for passive income.
Okay,
And
what do you mean?
I mean,
Already red flag. When somebody says passive income, red flag. Especially given that she said that she's working 2 jobs, and one is a social worker job, and the other one was what was the other one? I don't remember. Yeah, you're right. So like, already not making a ton of money and saying that you want passive income, you know, probably where her head is at the moment, which is a big testament, I will say, Brody, to at the end her saying that she would rather things be paid upfront to have the long-term payoff. Like, that's a complete mindset shift that you can see since we started at the end and now we're going back to the beginning. You can see it's complete opposite, because passive income is like, oh, I want something for nothing. But at the end, she's in a complete opposite headspace of, I want the upfront work in order to get the long-term payoff. You see that? In some ways, it's kind of the same as well with passive. Like, if she has the understanding that in order to get passive income, you have to do the work up front, and later on it could be the same, but I would bet money that it's a completely different mindset shift. So good work on that. All right, we'll do this for like 5 minutes, you guys, and then we'll bounce.
obviously, I think most of us, we want multiple streams of revenue, right? So
You tell me. I only have one stream of revenue, and it's pretty damn good. But what's the significance of passive income for you?
well, the money works for itself, right? So you sleep, you can make money, you know.
Okay.
Good job, Brody. I don't know that I would like say me. I wouldn't talk about you. I would just say possibly.
Especially, you know, you want generational wealth. And
That was definitely an opportunity to use the different proximity levels. I mean, a lot of my friends have one stream of revenue, and that's pretty damn good for them. They make a lot more money than me. But what's the significance for you?
There you go. Fantastic.
several reasons, you know.
Gotcha. And what's the biggest reason for you, though?
Good. When somebody doesn't answer your question, you guys, you have to ask it again. If you, it does so much good, because number one, you're asking the question for a reason. So don't just let that reason fly away. Number two, it signals to the other person that you're asking the question for a reason, that you need the answer. So they can't just get around the questions that you ask. Number three, it also signals to the prospect that like you're in control and that you're following your process, that like you've done this before, and you're signaling to them to follow you. So you have increased levels of authority. There's so many things that it does. Never move past the question if the prospect doesn't actually answer it.
Eventually, I would like to break away from, you know, 9-to-5 job.
Gotcha. And why is breaking away from the 9-to-5 so important to you?
Because it's time consuming. It takes up, you know, every aspect of my life.
Well, building a business as well is time consuming as well. But why look to actually make a shift?
No, because this is different, you know. Like, if entrepreneurship is the ultimate goal for everyone, you know, so obviously you don't want to work for anyone else.
I'm dating a girl right now, and she would hate to be an entrepreneur. She likes working for people. She likes a 9-to-5. But for you, though?
So you're doing a good job of probing into things, Brody, but be very careful of bringing your own experience into things. And be careful of being too combative. So like, being curious is a good thing. But if you are immediately curious every single time somebody says something, and like, I think it's also partially just your, not your facial language, your facial expressions as you say these things, it feels a little combative. So tactically, don't bring your own experience into it, and just ask questions about what they mean. Why is that important? And then every once in a while, drop in a little acknowledgement of what they're saying to like affirm what they're saying, and then move on. Because if you just immediately ask a question back every single time, it can kind of feel a little bit like an interrogation, and you can mix asking questions with elicitation. So when somebody says, you know, well, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, it's like, oh, I don't know that I've heard that before. They'll now go into it. I didn't ask a question, so it doesn't feel like I'm asking a question, but they're naturally going to go into that. Well, yeah, I mean, everybody, why wouldn't you want to be an entrepreneur? You have more time, you get to control your money. Like, why are those things important to you? What's the significance of having more time back? You've said that a couple of times now. Does that make sense? So mix questions with elicitation, and it'll feel a little bit less combative, a little less like an interrogation.
Now, if you know you're capable of making way more than you're making right now, if you can feel it, right, you have days where everything just clicks and you know exactly what this career should look like. But then those days are inconsistent and the income is also inconsistent, a bit like a roller coaster perhaps. Maybe one month you make 20K, then the next you make 4, and you hop onto a new offer and it changes again. But you feel stuck making well below what you know is possible for you consistently when you look at your annualized income. What you want, more than likely, is to close that gap, to make the income that you know that you are capable of every single month and remove all of the inconsistency. 20, 30, 40K months that you can actually plan your life around and expect month after month, year after year. Now, if you want to take this career seriously and develop your skill to the point where that becomes your baseline, click the first link in the description. It's also pinned in the comments. And regardless, I will see you every single day at 5 p.m. Eastern, right after you've taken your calls for the day, with content that is laser targeted towards making you a closer capable of making 20, 30, 40, 50, even K a month, every single month, consistently.